Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
The top story for you this morning, Pyongyang's official Korean Central News Agency says its leader Kim Jong-un has reached an important decision regarding the country's sovereignty and safety at a military meeting.
And that comes while the two Koreas continue to prep for the upcoming family reunion. More coming up in the headlines. Samsung aims to break away from its smartphone-driven portfolio. More coming up on Imprint.
A survey was launched to pick 100 places Koreans must visit in Korea. If you want to know what they are, please stay tuned for more on Hot Clicks.
And the hills are alive with the sound of a miracle, the result of 11 Venezuelan children from the orchestra El Sistema. We meet the director and hear his philosophy. On its 10th year and rising to one of the biggest competitive dance venues in Asia, the Seoul International Dance Competition invited over 340 competitors from around the world. All that and more on Monday, August 26, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good Monday morning, everyone. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining us.
It was a hot weekend and a happy Monday to you. It was rather mild coming out in the morning today, but this weekend we saw some high temperatures once again.
That's right. The summer is slowly but surely coming to an end, and many people are trying to enjoy what is left of the summer season by heading to the beaches. In fact, this Sunday alone, some 200,000 people visited Busan's Haeundae Beach. And talk about being the last-minute beachgoers. The beaches in Korea will start closing starting today. And we never had a chance to go to the beach.
No, we didn't. But if you do still want to check out some hot spots, then the mountains might be where you want to go. But speaking of the summer, what we haven't seen are any typhoons. And this is the first time since 2009 that we haven't seen any typhoons in the months of June, July, and August. But weather experts do say it's not too early. It's not early enough, or it's not, basically, you can't say that there's not going to be any this year, so be on the lookout for them later this year.
All right, we'll begin Korea Today with a look at the day's headlines.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says he has come to an important conclusion that will protect the sovereign rights and security of his country. Pyongyang's state-run news agency says the decision was made at an extended military meeting that Kim presided over, although the date or the venue was not specified. The agency also did not reveal the details of Kim's decision, but did say the conclusion was made through practical discussions on strengthening the state's defense capabilities. Meanwhile, South Korea's unification minister Ryu Gil-jae says Seoul is not considering holding an inter-Korean summit at this point. During an interview with a local broadcaster Sunday, Ryu said because the two Koreas have too many complex issues at hand, if attempts are made to solve all issues at once, it will make things even more complicated. In the meantime, preparations for a reunion for families separated since the Korean War are ongoing. Over the weekend, Red Cross officials were busy contacting those who have been chosen as primary candidates. After checking whether their family members in the north are alive and also after conducting health checkups, a list of 100 eligible members will be finalized on September 16th. Seoul and Pyongyang are aiming to hold the reunion the following week, just after Chuseok, or Korea's Thanksgiving holiday. And as for resuming operations at the jointly run factories in Kaesong, South Korean business owners will visit the complex starting Monday to check up and repair their equipment. This comes, of course, nearly 5 months after Pyongyang abruptly halted operations at the business park when inter-Korean tensions were running high. Time is almost up for the main rival parties to give parliamentary approval to last year's fiscal account, but they are unable to start a meaningful discussion yet. The ruling Saenuri Party has blamed the main opposition Democratic Party for continuing its outdoor protest, saying it will hold a parliamentary account committee meeting without DP lawmakers.
The Democratic Party needs to think about the people, exhausted by the heat, troubled by red ties and desperate for jobs. We once again call on the party to return to its duty at the National Assembly.
Heightening tensions at the outdoor protest doesn't mean we'll give up or boycott the Assembly's regular session. The DP is well aware that the regular session is the Parliament's yearly produce, the strongest way of containing the government and our duty as lawmakers.
With September's regular session just around the corner, watchers are raising concerns the political wrangling will end up delaying other major events at the National Assembly, such as parliamentary audits and budget meetings. Prosecutors' investigation into finding and collecting former president and military dictator Chun Doo-hwan's hidden assets continues. On Sunday, officials seized a bank account of Chun's nephew Lee Jae-hong, who is suspected of keeping millions of dollars of the former leader's slush funds. He is accused of managing the Chun family's real estate properties and playing a key role in illegally laundering the family's money. Now, Chun's second eldest son, Chun Jae-yong, is also expected to be summoned sometime this week, and this is part of the prosecution's efforts to collect what Chun has yet to pay back to the state. In 1997, he was ordered to pay a fine of some $200 million for staging a coup and accepting bribes.
Good morning, everyone. Today we have a number of our dailies covering the assessment of President Park Geun-hye's past 6 months. Now let's first take a look at our first newspaper, Joseon-ilbo, and go directly by taking a look at this photo right here. The caption reads, "World Rowing Championships in Cheongju kicks off. A record 1,900 from 75 countries participate." The World Rowing Championships is the world's largest water sport event that began on Sunday that will last for a total of 8 days. The picture here is, of course, the Italian team practicing on Saturday, according to the caption. We do have Tommy standing by at the championships today, so stay tuned for more on that later in the program. Let's now go on over to this side story right over here. The headline reads, "Public opinion, growth rather than welfare." So the story here tells us about a recent public poll by a research firm, Media Research, on the assessment of the government's performance in the past 6 months, and as well as on its welfare policies. Let's take a look at this graph right over here. Excuse me. Just a sec. Right over here, 67% of the people surveyed said they believe President Park is doing a good job. 24% said she is not, and about 9% did not answer or said they had no opinion. Now, as for President Park's ambitious welfare goals, nearly half of those surveyed said that the government should concentrate on putting the economy back on a growth path than focusing on welfare. When asked on increasing tax for welfare expansion, over 2/3 said they are against it. Now let's go on over to our next daily, Gyeongyang Shinmun, and take a look at the story right over here. The headline reads, "Institute for the Future of State strongly criticized Park Geun-hye administration's economic policy." The Institute for the Future of State is a think tank that consists of President Park's close aides who came up with Park's policies. Now, the paper notes that it is very unusual for a think tank that is considered to be backbone of drafting her key policies to strongly criticize the president's economic policies. On a report looking back at the president's past 6 months, the think tank said President Park's plans to fund her policies are not practical given the financial difficulties. As for the new tax code, the think tank criticized it by saying that it simply tried to match up the numbers. The report adds that the government is overly optimistic about the economic conditions, referring to the government's growth forecast of 4% next year. The think tank noted, according to the Daily, that given the U.S. Federal Reserve's plans to start winding down its stimulus, Korea may not be able to post 4% growth next year, and it says the government has no counter plan in case of that happening. Let's go on over to our next daily, Chungang-ilbo, and the headline here reads, "Board of Audit and Inspection, outside political influence till when?" Now, the story here starts off by noting that the Board of Audit and Inspection is structurally created so that it could be free from influence from changing administrations. Now, last Friday, Yang Kon, the head of the Board of Audit and Inspection, expressed his intent to resign, fueling on controversy surrounding the political neutrality of the public spending watchdog. Yang, who was appointed to the head the Board of Audit and Inspection by former President Lee Myung-bak, had said the former president's Four Rivers restoration project had no distinct problems. But after President Park Geun-hye took office, the public spending watchdog laid out a new report back in January, citing problems with the durability of the reservoirs created through the former president's project. As the watchdog's audit conclusions differed during the Yi administration and after Park took office, the paper notes concerns about the agency's political neutrality are rising. Now let's go on over to our business news and take a look at this story right over here. The headline here reads, Samsung's sense of crisis from Galaxy concentration. So the paper talks about the Samsung Electronics' heavy dependence on its wireless business. As to how heavily the company is dependent on this, the paper sums it up nicely by giving us a graph right here. So 70% of Samsung Electronics' operating profits came from sales of the IT and mobile communication division, including those of Galaxy smartphones in the first half of this year. Now, right below it, it says 40%. That's how much Samsung Electronics affiliate companies are dependent on the company's mobile phone business. And lastly, 34% of the Samsung Group's total sales came from Samsung Electronics' IT and mobile communication divisions in the first half of the year. Let's now go back to the story right over here. To deal with this heavy dependence issue, the article says the company's senior officials have been coming together for months to develop future strategies. The team is reportedly looking into business items, including multi-device, mobile health, and so-called future TV. This differs from Samsung Group's current list of growth engine businesses, which includes batteries for electric vehicles and biopharmaceuticals. We will leave it at that for your look at what's in print today. Next up are your closing numbers from Friday's Market Action.
And still ahead, El Sistema, an inclusive music project that grew out of Venezuela in a drive to fight poverty with instruments. It has also put down roots in the U.S. and Korea. We sit down with U.S. Director Mark Churchill to learn more about the program, so stay tuned.
Now, yesterday, August 25th, marked 6 months since President Park Geun-hye took office with an approval rating of 51.6%. It really seems like just yesterday when we were reporting of the first female president of Korea, but today, now she's already completed her 10th of her term.
That's right. The first 6 months of her term in office saw many ups and downs in terms of both international and domestic issues. And along with those events, her approval ratings have been on a seesaw ride. So let's take a look at those events and see what the public thinks of her now. Take a look. 6 months have passed since President Park Geun-hye was sworn into office with her pledge to open up a new era of national happiness and hope.
부강하고 국민 모두가 함께 행복한 대한민국을 만드는데 저의 모든 것을 바치겠습니다.
President Park Geun-hye seems very meticulous and is able to understand the public sentiment. So I'm glad I voted for her.
She's doing a great job with the North Korean policies, so I think that's worth commending her for.
I think we have yet to see any positive and satisfactory economic results from the working class's point of view.
According to a recent public survey, more than half said the president is doing a good job. President Park has emphasized principles and trust and set as the administration's main goals building a creative economy based on job creation, customized employment and welfare programs, and cultural prosperity with strong national security. And while her foreign policy efforts have received praise, many believe more needs to be done on domestic issues.
First of all, President Park Geun-hye and her administration have done a great job with diplomatic and inter-Korean relations, and such positive achievements have been recognized by the public. However, many Koreans are still not 100% satisfied with the current government, as it hasn't come up with any tangible measures to unify the public and improve the economy.
Notably, President Park was most lauded for her consistent policy towards North Korea. Despite threats from Pyongyang, she was able to keep calm and take the upper hand in inter-Korean talks.
저는 북한의 도발에는 더욱 강력하게 대응하되 북한이 올바른 선택으로 변화의 길을 걷고자 한다면 더욱 유연하게 접근할 것입니다.
Consequently, the operation at the suspended Kaesong Industrial Complex will be resumed, and reunions for families separated by the Korean War will take place next month at Mount Kumgang in North Korea. Much was achieved on the foreign policy front as well. Her trust-building process on the Korean peninsula received strong support during bilateral summit talks with the leaders of the U.S. and China, further enhancing ties with each respective country.
The bilateral relations between the U.S. and South Korea is as good as it's ever been, and I feel very positive about the future of the U.S.-Korea relations. I think the changes within China and changes in terms of the status of China in the global politics is playing to our advantage. So I'm again also quite optimistic as China-South Korea relations move forward.
In contrast to her notable achievements in foreign affairs, however, the administration's efforts in job creation and welfare were not well received.
Right now, the domestic economy is showing positive signs since the three main visible economic indicators, growth, employment, and price rates, are looking steady. That's why Korea's economic growth was forecast to increase a bit more than initially expected. On the other hand, because of skyrocketing jeonse prices and tax reforms, to secure the budget for welfare programs, many citizens feel as if the economy is still on the downward trend.
While the public isn't feeling much of it just yet, the overall assessment is that the country's economy is recovering and that a broader framework has been built for economic democratization. In fact, bills have already been passed to achieve this. New welfare programs are still in their initial stages, including the half-price tuition fees for universities, the National Happiness Fund for the elderly, and free education for children aged 5 and under. In contrast to positive assessment on the gradual shaping of internal and external policies, some have voiced concerns about the lack of open communication within the political arena.
To successfully democratize the economy and unite the public, it's crucial for the president to show she's willing to freely communicate with others, including different political parties. There's the need to step away from an authoritative approach so that people will know that she's open to communicating.
I think it's important to look over various measures and ways to decrease the gap between the society's rich and poor.
I hope the new government can provide better jobs and opportunities for the younger generations.
The past 6 months have been the first stage of the administration, and now the country is hoping to see more measures to vitalize the sagging economy and to improve the overall livelihood of the public. It's quite remarkable that she has started out with one of the lowest approval ratings for a past president, but she has recovered most of that, especially when it comes to North Korea. It is really a blessing in disguise with all these threats from North Korea. Really, the way she handled it has earned public support.
I mean, interestingly enough, one of the areas that she is getting good grades on is her North Korean policy. But if you remember back in February, March, and April when she was just stepping into office, the tensions were running high.
That's
and
right.
her approval ratings were dropping a little bit because of that. So whether she is lucky lucky or if her trust policy is working out, we'll have to wait and see for that one.
Okay, so even with the low ratings that she started out with, it seems that things are going for the better and up now. And at the same time, with the North Korean policies, it seems to be working a 10th into her term, and we still have 9/10 more to go.
That's
so we'll
right.
be keeping a close watch on how the president does.
All right, time now to get a check on the weather with our Idami, as always, who is standing by in Chungju, North Chungcheong Province.
There
Good
she
morning,
is.
Idami. Looking beautiful as usual.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm reporting live from Tangam Lake International Rowing Regatta, located in Chungju of North Chungcheong Province. Thank you for the compliment. And this is where the 2013 World Rowing Championships is going to take place. Now, this morning, we are seeing great weather conditions. There is some fog in the atmosphere, but it is because I am near the waters. But overall, it does feel nice and refreshing. We will be seeing clear conditions throughout the day in most of the nation. However, some areas in the inland central regions may have some precipitation. This morning, current temperatures are at 22 degrees Celsius. These days, our mornings and evenings have been quite cool. However, in the afternoons, our daytime highs are still scorching hot. Make sure to apply that extra sunscreen on when heading outdoors because the sun is still quite hot. Now, we will be seeing clear conditions until this Wednesday. However, on Thursday, we are expecting to receive a precipitation which will give us cooler temperatures, and our highs will finally fall below the 30s. Let's now go ahead and take a look at our highs for today. Seoul and Daegu's highs will escalate to 32, Gangneung and Gwangju will reach up to 31, and Jeju Island will rise to 30 degrees. Do keep in mind that the difference in temperatures are quite significant. That's all I have for the weather. I'll be back in the latter half.
And it's 7:23 a.m. on Korea Today, and we'll be talking about an orchestra group called the El Sistema. Now, El Sistema means the system in Spanish, and it all started in 1975 when a group of underprivileged children from the capital city of Caracas from Venezuela joined together and performed their first orchestrated concert. And since then, it's inspired a lot of these children from underprivileged neighborhoods to go on to better their careers and better their lives, and to work as very established professionals as well. And about 3 years ago, a very similar system that uses music and orchestra and the power of teamwork to educate began in Korea.
Can I go now?
Yes.
Are you out of breath by now, Young?
I'll take that breath now.
Well, dubbed El Sistema of Korea, the Sejong Dream Tree, the harmony composed of children from disadvantaged families, has been holding annual performances. And for this year's event, a special guest has visited them. So let's find out who he is.
The Sejong Dream Tree Harmony Orchestra started in 2010 with 45 kids from children community centres across Seoul. This group was modelled after El Sistema in order to bring teens who otherwise would not have many opportunities to learn music and come together.
You can play the rhythms, like what's in the music, rhythms.
And at the orchestra's rehearsal ahead of its third regular concert, Korea Today met with Mark Churchill. This wasn't his first visit to Korea.
I had the great pleasure of seeing the Sejong Dream Tree Harmony Orchestra when it first started, just after a few months. And of course, the kids were just beginning their instruments. They were already doing a very good job for the few months that they had studied, but they didn't seem very happy. But this time, after 3 years, they're very excited, they're very happy, they're very energized about what they're doing. So that's the main difference. And that's the key to why they're doing this. They're not doing this just to learn an instrument or to certainly try to be a professional musician. That's not the point. But to feel a sense of their own human capacity, their own joy in living and in working hard to accomplish something. And they can do anything that they want to do, that anything is possible.
Venezuela's El Sistema brought about a miraculous change to kids who were exposed to poverty and crimes by encouraging them to hold musical instruments instead of guns. As a result, it produced names such as musical director Gustavo Dudamel of Los Angeles Philharmonic and Berlin Philharmonic's youngest bass player, Edixon Ruiz, who both once lived in neighborhoods full of drugs and violence.
Working with El Sistema programs, which is a very, very different philosophy of teaching music. In a nutshell, it's teaching kids in groups first, getting them connected as a community, getting them excited to be together, to learn together, to work together. That's what produces their motivation. Maestro Abreu, the founder of El Sistema, often says, if once a child knows 2 notes, he teaches the second note to the child who only knows 1 note. So from the beginning to learn how to support each other.
Mark Churchill was able to successfully localize Venezuela's El Sistema into El Sistema USA. While many have applauded his work, it wasn't an easy journey.
El Sistema movement outside of Venezuela is a very young and new movement. Unlike Venezuela, there's no central authority or central control. Each program is very independent. So our biggest job now is to find ways for the programs to work together, to share their resources, to share their knowledge, to support each other. That's a challenge for Korea, just like it's a challenge in the United States. Not living in Korea, not being Korean or part of the Korean culture, I can't really describe the challenges. But what I understand is that there are different initiatives based on El Sistema, and they need to start talking to each other more and building the movement in El Sistema ideally together.
The reason Churchill came to Korea this time is to promote his idea of cooperation through communication. During his 8-day stay starting August 9th, Churchill was able to see and experience the future of the Sejong Dream Tree Orchestra.
Once the child begins to grow and be transformed by the music, it changes their family environment. The parents become proud of the children, they support the children in different ways, and the child becomes actually a leader within his own family. He or she feels like they are helping their family aspire to better things, and the family feels more possibility because the child is excelling and achieving. Once that begins to happen with the family, it starts to spread within the community.
El Sistema doesn't educate just with words. Trust and sacrifice are the most important educational components.
내가 이런 걸 할 수 있을까라는 생각도 들었어요. 제가 막 그런 많은 사람들 앞에서 서서 연주를 할 수 있을까 했는데 해보니까 괜찮고 이렇게 뿌듯하고 재밌고.
Think that you can do much more than you imagine. You outdo yourselves. That your hard work, your spirit, your desire to share the music with your friends and families and teachers, that this will bring in you as a group, as a community, the capacity to just play with great strength and warmth and conviction and projection. I believe they can do that and they will do that.
Many hope Venezuela's El Sistema will continue to instill more hope and dreams in its future performers.
The kids are quite talented.
Yes, exactly. And it looks like it's a very good opportunity for students in Korea to take part in that program. And I hear that the group, the program, El Sistema program in Korea are incorporating more Korean instrument and Korean aspect to the music, such as incorporating drums or puk and nongak, kungak, the Korean traditional music. So we might, have a look out for that one too.
And banging on those 북 and 꽹과리 and 장구 and all
are
those
fun
Korean
activities.
traditional instruments should get their stress out of their system, right?
That's right. A lot of kids, they do love that just for that purpose, and that's why we even call it 사물놀이, right? It's to play, it's to have fun with it, right? All right, still to come on Korea Today, we'll be talking about convenience stores that are open 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Korean convenience stores are turning themselves inside and out to meet the needs of consumers. All the consumers that you could possibly think of. Take a spin around some of the most unique stores that never stop operating.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chun Sung-cho, and it's time for Hot Clicks. And let's jump right into it. I'm sure all of you are all familiar with costume parties, but a costume paragliding contest? Yeah, it didn't ring a bell for me either, but this contest was recently held as part of the Buckwheat Festival in Pyeongchang. And yes, Pyeongchang is the host city of the 2018 Winter Olympics and is also known for having great paragliding courses. The video on YouTube showing the participants dressed in different animal costumes and going down the paragliding slope attracted a lot of attention. And as you can see, there were all kinds of animals like polar bear, black bear, leopard, dragonfly, you name it. And sometimes there were two people on board together. The most popular animal costume was none other than the dragon. And while images of the participants enjoying the paragliding was entertaining, pictures of those who struggled to take off were even funnier. Definitely delivered great laughs to many viewers. And let's move on to our next story. There is a saying, Mother Nature is the true artist. And I'm sure you won't be able to agree more when you see these pictures that I'm about to show you. A blogger uploaded a posting titled Drawings by Nature featuring these pictures, and it has gone viral among online users. Without further ado, let's take a look. The image of perfect symmetry between the surface looks as if a violin has been lifted up sideways, right? And this rock chiseled by the winds and waves looks almost exactly like a guitar. Besides these, more pictures of the nature's impeccable artworks like seashore rocks that resemble animals drinking water, flying birds through a cave that look like a human's face from afar, icicles that look like a person's finger, and piles of snow on a branch that could pass as a bear cub have caught the eye of many online users recently. Now, the number one topic that always attracts people's attention online usually involves intriguing and surprising images, like this one maybe? I'll show you more right now, but what's special about these pictures is that the pictures were taken by college students and they seem to well show their majors of studies. How? Let's take a look. This dinosaur fossil you see right now is actually made by an art student. Well, only this time she chose bread over a paintbrush as her tool. She cut some slices of bread into shapes accordingly, toasted them in a 160 degrees Celsius oven for about 3 to 5 minutes, then glued with oligosaccharide, and voila, here's an art piece. But it looks like students with different majors felt the competition as an engineering student shows off this interesting nail art that features electric circuits and a periodic table drawn on the tiles in the bathroom. What about these physical education students showing off their physical strength? A stunning performance, all for good laughs, of course. Well, starting June, Korea Tourism Organization launched a survey titled 100 Places Koreans Must Visit in Korea. Online users gave points to where they thought would be the best location, and third place went to Gyeomun and Baek Islands in Yeosu, South Jeolla Province, known for its picturesque scenery. And Korea's oldest inland wetland, Upo Wetland, also known as the heaven for wild animals, took second place since it's home to all kinds of well-conserved eco-life. Now, guess which destination grabbed the top spot? It's none other than Mungyongseje in Mungyong, North Gyeongsang Province, known as one of Joseon Dynasty's 3 major paths.
Mungyongseje is famous for its perfect harmony between the streams, paths, and mountains, as well as the red clay earth known to be walkable on barefoot. Also, Korea Tourism Organization said it believes the reason why this destination grabbed #1 was because there are many other attractions nearby Mungyongseje for visitors to enjoy.
Well, you know, I have to say that the top 3 aren't exactly the most popular and most well-known destinations. One of the most well-known destinations is Jeju. What happened to Jeju?
Oh, yeah, right now. I was curious myself too, but Jeju's Ole Road was placed at the 30th, while Jeju's southern Udo and Halla Mountains Baeknokdam rested at 60th and 68th respectively. And considering their name values, yeah, it's surprising that you should think that they would rank higher, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Right. People wanted to vote for places that are not yet well known, still has a lot to offer, as opposed to the places that are already famous.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like everybody is very much too familiar with all the major touristic attractions like Jeju-do, as Young has mentioned. And so people are now seeking for more other destinations for some new kind of experience and fun. And the places that I mentioned as number 1, 2, 3 just now, they all carry certain values and meanings behind them. Like Mungyongseje used to be an old important path during Joseon Dynasty. So it seems like these days it's more than just playing in the water and sunbathing for people's summer vacation.
And tell us about the 4th and 5th destinations. Maybe I've been to some of those because the first 3 ones I've missed all of them.
Oh, you haven't? Mungyongseje you must go. It's beautiful.
I will do that.
That's my next weekend trip. Right.
Well, yeah, I'm sure all of you have all visited 4th and 5th. The 4th was actually Insadong's traditional street in Seoul, where you can buy all sorts of traditional goods and, not to mention all the food that you can get there on the restaurants, right? And the 5th went to Dong River in Yeongwol, Gangwon province. So I wonder this release of the new survey will create a new boom to these places, and I'll definitely revisit all those places myself.
Right. Well, it helps that Insadong is just across from my house, so thank you.
Oh, yeah, you should revisit again.
Well, you've caught my attention with the top 3, so I'll be taking a look at those destinations.
Thank you, Song-cho.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it for me for today. Hot Clicks today, and I'll see you next week.
All right, thank you again, Song-cho.
Still ahead on Korea Today, we'll take you to a prominent dance competition that brings together ballerinas and contemporary dancers all on the same stage. We'll tell you who the winner is at the Seoul International Dance Competition, so don't go away.
Okay, I think it would be a lie if I said I don't visit the 편의점 or the convenience store at least once a week. I mean, it's become such an integral part of our lives.
I go there every day.
Exactly, just to pick up on maybe a stick of gum or maybe a bag of chips, maybe some of that triangle.
Recharge your battery too.
There you go. You can find any kind of services at these convenience stores, and we'll take a look at what makes Korean convenience stores that much more special.
Convenience stores can be found wherever you go in Korea. These mini-marts have become an essential part of convenient shopping for people on the go. Despite their small spaces, these convenience stores carry all kinds of necessities, from food to daily items. They have become an integral part of everyone's lives, and they've changed dramatically over the years. Noryangjin in Seoul is known for its various private academies, and it's always busy with students. Many students here get their meals at convenience stores. Since students can easily grab a quick meal during their short breaks, lunch boxes here are high in demand.
It's more affordable and tastier here. Plus, it's more convenient to eat.
These pre-made lunches sold here are evolving rapidly, and when compared with similar businesses, these packed lunches are competitive in price and taste. And that's not all. Besides lunch boxes, instant fried goods, freshly baked breads or pastries, and even coffee are also very popular.
I buy it often because it's cheaper and tastier than what's sold in other stores.
This store, where many offices are, has attracted customers through a special service. It's a lunch delivery service with different daily menus, including various side dishes and rice.
Many office workers request delivery.
In essence, these convenience stores now head out to meet their customers, unlike in the past when they waited for people to stop by. The convenience store lunchbox deliveries are becoming more popular, being almost 30% cheaper than other lunch delivery services.
I recently found out convenience stores deliver lunchboxes. It's such a convenient service, and it's perfect for most office workers who sometimes don't have enough time to eat.
To be labeled a convenience store, operation must be 24 hours. The country's first convenience store popped up in 1989 in Seoul, and starting in the year 2000, the number has shown rapid growth with an increase of singles and senior citizens. More and more people choose to shop here for one-stop shopping.
Because convenience stores are small, they target a small number of customers. That's why they don't need to buy in bulk and can buy products in small portions from distributors quickly according to consumer demands. The fact that they can respond this fast is what customers are attracted to.
And to cater to customers with various needs, these stores have gone mobile and launched various smart services.
저희 이거 2개 사시면 하나 더 드리고 남한행정구에 넣어드릴까요? 네, 그렇게 해주세요.
This smartphone application helps customers save money and time.
Nowadays, there are a lot of buy one, get one free or buy two, get one free deals at convenience stores. When we can't take all the giveaways, the stores place them in these special smartphone applications, so it's much more convenient.
These gifts stored in applications can be claimed whenever you want from the same franchises in different locations. Many customers have given us positive feedback on this, since these items can also be given as gifts to others.
The products sold are also becoming more diverse. From medicine, stationery to Wi-Fi services, innovative products continue to spill out.
여기 면도기 어디 있어요?
Electric shavers can cost up to a few 100,000 won. Cheaper versions can be bought for just 4,900 won.
I always thought it would be nice to have a mobile electric shaver, especially during busy morning hours.
Korean convenience stores are open 24/7 for people on the go and are continuing to evolve with customer demand.
And a good Monday morning to you all. Now, if there's one sport that Korea is consistently good at, it's archery. Now, it's almost scary how good they are. In fact, going into the 4th World Cup event of the season, they finished off strong and went bling bling. Now, the mixed double pair of Yoon Ki and Lee Seung-yoon won the gold medal, as well as the men's team, who beat USA 225 to 196. Meanwhile, the women's side fell just short as the women's team won the silver medal after losing to India 219 to 215 in the finals. And so with that said, they call him Yi Seung-parak over in the Netherlands, but here in Korea we call him Park Ji-sung. Now, after making a season debut against AC Milan during the UEFA Champions League playoffs, he went into his first league match against Heracles El Melo. It only took 6 minutes for the first goal to be scored in the match as Larin Duarte finds the back of the net, giving Heracles the early 1-0 lead. Time kept ticking and PSV facing a 1-0 upset loss, but in the 86th minute of the match, Park Ji-sung, being Park Ji-sung, somehow pokes this one in, the equalizer. As the match finishes off tied 1-1, Park Ji-sung scores his first goal of the season as he helps PSV run away with a point. Meanwhile, PSV sit in second place with 3 wins and a draw. And back here in the nation, we had some Sunday's K-League Classic action as the Pohang Steelers squeezed in a win against the Cheonnam Dragons as they took the match 3-2. Now, with the win, Pohang's now 5 points ahead of Jeonbuk for the first place lead. Meanwhile, FC Seoul taking on Gyeongnam FC. Both teams go scoreless in the match as they split a point now, tied with Ulsan with 42 points. So with that said, let's take a look at the Suwon Samsung Blue Wings taking on Daegu FC. Of course, shifting over to the game here, first half of the match, both sides go at it from the start, but they both fail to score as the match goes 0-0 after the first half of the match. Second half starts and nothing going despite the aggressive attacks from both sides, but the game changer, 74th minute of the match, Leandro Lima with a red card here. And we have a penalty kick. Now Santos taking the penalty kick here, and he's going to take the spot kick, and he converts it 1-0 Suwon. Shortly after 79th minute of the match, here's Eong-rae this time for the second goal of the match. Suwon takes a 2-0 lead. Nothing happening after the red card for Daegu as Suwon takes 3 points, 2-0 your final score. And shifting over to the major leagues where choo-choo train Choo Shin-soo stole 2 bases in the 3-1 loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, that's his 100th and 101st stolen base of his career, as he's also 1 short of his 100th career home run as well. And then we're going to finish things off with some Sunday night's KBO action as the Hanwha Eagles sweep the Tucson Bears 3-2. Now, Tucson continued to struggle late in August with the SK Wyverns shutting out the NC Dinos 2-0. So with that said, let's take a look at the other 2 games that took place last night. Starting off with the Samsung Lions taking on the Lotte Giants. Of course, shifting over to the game, we start off in the 3rd inning of the game. Chung Young-sik, he's going to ground this one to 3rd, and it's an infield single. Scores Lee Ji-young for the 1-0 Samsung lead. Next inning, Park Jong-yoon, RBI double to left field as the ball game's now tied 1-1. 6th inning, here's Park Sung-min this time, sends one to left field. A sac fly gives Samsung the lead once again before Chang Sung-ho of the Lotte Giants ties it up once again with an RBI single to left field. Following inning, Pae-young's up, RBI single here, but then error by the right fielder is going to bring him Kim Sang-soo, and the Samsung Lions take the 3-2 lead. Next play, here's Choi Young-woo. Check out this one. RBI double to right only because it gets stuck on the fence. 4-2 Samsung. 8th inning, Samsung getting some more insurance runs in this one. This time, Lee Ji-young an RBI single as Samsung takes the 5-2 lead, and that's your final score as Samsung now has a half-game lead over the LG Twins. And next up, the Lexington Heroes taking on the Kia Tigers. 1st inning, Na Ji-won an RBI single to left gives the Kia Tigers the early 1-0 lead. And check out this one. Lee Bom-ho, he's got to drill this one to deep center field. Back, and it's caught by Yuan Jun. And what do you know? Stealing a home run right there. Meanwhile, bottom of the inning, Kim Min-sung with the bases loaded. 2-run single as the Nexon Heroes take a 2-1 lead. Shifting to the 3rd inning, Na Ji-won a 2-run double to right center field, and the Kia Tigers take the lead 3-2. 5th inning of the game. Remember Lee Bom-ho, how he got his home run stolen? Well, he's going to send this one to center field once again, but this time it is out of here. 3-run shot as the Kia Tigers take a 6-2 lead. 6th inning, Nexon Heroes making it interesting with Hong Jin-man's 2-run double to left field, and all of a sudden, 6-4 Kia. 9th inning, Kia up 9-4. Here come the Nexon Heroes once again. Moon Woo-ram, RBI double cuts the deficit before Park Byung-ho sends one to right. A sac fly makes it 9-6, but rally is cut short as Kia hangs on to take this game 9-6, with Nexon now trailing Tucson by just a half game. And with that said, that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
All right, we're going to go over to Lee Da-mi, who's at the site of the 2013 World Rowing Championships, and also it's the site of the Lake International Rowing Regatta. If I didn't know any better, I thought we'd be talking about Italian food. Regatta? We don't have time for this, so we'll go straight over to Tommy. bad joke, huh?
Dami, row your boat gently down the stream.
Okay, I'm back reporting live from the Tangam Lake International Rowing Regatta located in Chungju of North Chuncheong Province. This is where the 2013 World Rowing Championships is going to take place, and I must say that the weather today is fantastic, a perfect day to hold the tournaments. Now, the opening was held on August 24th, and it will go on until September 1st, so for a total of 8 days. This is the first international rowing tournament to be held here in Korea. It will also be the largest championship to take place, as a total of 82 different countries, or about 2,000 participants, will be taking place. Just to talk a little bit about the location itself. Now, the Tangam Lake was made naturally by the Chungju Dam. It has a beautiful view, as you can see, with hills covered with trees passing through the water. Not only does this place have a scenic view, but great rowing courses, as the width of the waters, the depth, and the quality of the water is the best. As a matter of fact, the Tangam Lake International Rowing Regatta is one of the few places that have the best qualities when it comes to rowing stadiums. Now, there will be a total of 27 games in this tournament. As you can see, there are the participants out and about this morning getting prepared for the actual championships. There will also be a tournament for the disabled that will be taking place as well. Now, I heard that the Korea team gathered a month before the tournaments to prepare and went through a lot of hardcore training to prepare for the 2013 World Rowing Championships. So I wish them the best, and of course every other participant that is taking place. This is your look at the Tangam Lake International Rowing Regatta. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
The Seoul International Dance Competition came to an end this weekend, and our reporter Im Yoon-hee was there. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, recently I've been able to attend all these events that feature just really talented people. And, you know, I can't help but wonder, why couldn't I be born with cool talents like that? But anyway, I did attend the Seoul International Dance Competition, which took place last week and into the weekend. And I was just blown away by how talented some of these dancers were. And some of them were just children. But anyway, let's take a look at this year's competition. With subtle power and striking beauty, these dancers illustrate the definition of elegance. But switch the beat and you get dancers who can pop and roll their way to fun. Both styles are just a part of this year's Seoul International Dance Competition, which has grown to be one of the largest dance competitions in Asia. And with over 340 competitors from dance schools around the world, this year is the largest yet, making for some steep competition.
We started this dance competition in 2004, so it's been 10 years now. This event is like an Olympic dance event unique to Seoul, and there are 3 sections of the competition: ballet, contemporary dance, and ethnic dance.
Regardless of the country of origin, there is no exception when it comes to practice. For the dance students here, homework comes in the form of repetition. But it's not always about a perfect score. Competitors are able to transcend cultural borders by means of dance.
I came to this competition to show part of my culture through dance, and since being at this international competition, I've learned about Korean culture as well. So I think it's overall a great experience.
This event was created to allow young aspiring dancers opportunities to enhance their future careers. And although there's only one winner per year, everyone takes away an experience to remember.
I haven't been dancing for a long time, so I don't expect a big prize. But it would be nice if I could win.
Despite all difficulties, competitors still persevere and participate in this competition year after year. Ballet is consistently the most popular category, with some competitors as young as 11 years old. However, each dancer still manages to display their high level of achievement. And the dancers aren't the only ones showing dedication to the sport. The panel of judges eagerly watches this year's turnout in search of new talents.
I think the competition goes stronger every year. It's quite nice for the dancers to have Seoul International Dance Competition on their resume. It really makes, when they're looking for jobs and things, it helps them get auditions. And you're looking for people with magic. And that magic, if you have it, it comes shining through.
Over in the contemporary dance category, this year's competition attracted some of the most expressive solo performances yet. As contemporary dance has been growing in popularity amongst the dancers over the past few years.
Contemporary dance is the exact opposite, I would say, of ballet. It's, I think, a form of dance that gives the dancer a freedom of expression. Contemporary dance is becoming overwhelmingly popular in the dance community. I think because of that freedom and the flexibility it offers the dancers, they feel really happy about doing something that they want to do and not always being told, you've got to do it like this, do it this way. You have that freedom, I believe, and I think young people love to be free.
At the end of all the performances, winners were awarded their medals. But this year, one dancer in particular caught the attention of all the judges. It's been over 6 years since they've awarded anyone with the Grand Prix prize. But this year, contemporary dancer Im Jong-kyung proved he had that extra something.
I'm so thankful for all the attention I'm receiving, but honestly, everything hasn't set in yet, so it's all still a blur. Even though I won, this isn't the end. In fact, it's just the beginning. And from here on out, I have to always remember where I started from, so that I'll keep dancing the way I want to, while still being able to dance the way people want to see me dance.
This year marks a milestone for the Seoul International Dance Competition. And to celebrate its 10 years of history, an anniversary gala was held, featuring performances from world-renowned dancers, including former winners of this competition. These performers represent what each competitor strives for. And despite any wins or losses, dancers sitting in the audience eagerly watch as their hopes and dreams leap gracefully across the stage.
The Seoul International Dance Competition, it seems like the perfect place for aspiring dancers. Thank you very much for that report.
It's my pleasure.
Right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today. Many thanks for watching.
Yes, and have a great Monday. Sorry I cut in there. I'm a little bit eager. I'll see you back here tomorrow we'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.